When's the first time you remember disappointing your dad?
First
dude.
time.
Oh my God.
November 5th of 1999.
Is that when you were born?
I remember failing a test, and he pretty much just pulled me out of Boy Scouts for it.
What?
I was in Boy Scouts.
And he pulled you out of
He
that?
pulled me
because-
out for failing.
What did that accomplish?
It turned him vegan.
I know. Like,
Oh, no.
many mistakes were made.
Hey guys, I know it's been a while, about a month, but welcome back to the Couch Gambit podcast. I'm Michael Richabono. To my left, Mr. Charles Carlisle. I call him Mikey.
Howdy.
Howdy. And then the man who makes it all possible with all the camera work and everything, the editing, Jacob Sizemore.
Hey.
And then,
Starting
of
off
course,
strong.
and I didn't forget him this time, Iam Kwai.
Iam Kwan. Iam Kwan.
Ian
I
Kwandale.
make good sushi for you.
Ian Quandale.
But this episode is about embracing your inner dad. We're going to be talking about, what young men should, do to, be better individuals in society and, also just be better, We're going to probably share stories about our dads and, give the correct advice on how to be the best man possible.
The objective advice coming
Yep.
for
Coming
the
from
best
four
men.
guys who were single and
ever.
not dads.
And
Coming
one
from
of them
three
being
guys who were
really
single.
fat.
And one that's poor.
And one that's extreme. He's extra poor. Who got spanked as a kid?
Oh.
Oh, heck yeah.
We've
All right, wait. Let's go around. Like, what did your dad use to spank you?
I mean, it'd either be like the hand or a belt.
You got the belt?
Yeah.
Lovely. You
No,
ever-
that only happened one time. And that time was
Oh.
because I threw a can at my mom's head when I was like 5.
Oh, yeah, that's belt worthy.
Yeah,
right
no, like when I did that, my dad was like, "Oh man, I'm about
Dude,
to
I'm
give you some
taking-
whoop ass."
there. I'm taking off part of my clothing to beat you.
No, but seriously though, my dad. I mean, I think he has a lot of character flaws. I'm not going to go into detail because fuck all of you, you don't get to know that. But but yeah, even though he had a lot of character flaws, he was an individual who was very kind to people. But yeah, no, I mean, I think my dad was a good guy, but he certainly had flaws that I might go into, but not right now. Anyways, enough about my dad, who's dead.
So this isn't. This reminded me of a story that I had on my dad's pack-off. He's not. That wasn't his dad, but it was my grandpa's dad. So this. Well, not my grandpa's dad. My grandma's dad. Anyway, his name was Pack-Off. That's all I know about his name. I don't actually know his real name. I know his name was Pack-Off. That's what he called him. Pawpaw, Mimi, like all those names. That's what he was. Freaking this guy. From all the stories that I've been told, was like man's man. He was in the army. He was a cook. And when he returned, he was a manager at several restaurants. But he and all these served alcohol. So many times he got into bar fights with people at the bar who were like super freaking drunk. And multiple times, there was one guy specifically where he was causing a problem with a lady at the bar, and my pack-off, or my dad's pack-off, essentially beat the ever-living snot out of him in the bar and tossed him outside. But he didn't stop there. He walked up to him, grabbed him by his lapel, and said, "When you sober up, come back inside, and I'll feed you for free." And so he was not he was stern but fair. I think that's a really good example to have as a dad. Like, be stern but fair. There needs to be punishment. There needs to be punishment for actions that deemed necessary. But he's also fair. He's still compassionate at the end of the day. He's not gonna just beat you up and kick you in the dirt while you're down. And no, he's still compassionate. The guy is look, maybe you had a bad day. Maybe your life is crap. Maybe your dad's dead. So I'll come. You can come back in the bar and I'll serve you when you're sober. Also, sorry.
Hold my hand.
Sorry, buddy. We're getting through this one together.
But no, I think that's a good example of a. I also think dads should be able to discipline their kids in that way. And again, I don't think you. I'm for spankings 100%. I'm for the sticks, the belts, and everything.
I too am for beating your children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wooden stake, freaking anything that works. Tire, glass shards.
Gun.
Punch.
Yeah.
Gun.
Just kind of,
Fucking pistol whip him.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
But no, I think disciplinary action should be taken. I've ruined my dad's day many times. Whenever my mom just couldn't take my crap anymore, she would send my dad a message and say like, "Hey, you're gonna have to beat the crap out of your son when you get home." And then he would come home, or not even then, he would just come home happy, and then I would say, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And then he'd go to my mom, and then just come back with a stick in his hand, and he's like, oh, "I've ruined your day," and he'd like, "Why did you make me do this? Why? I was having a good day and you ruined this."
yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude, I absolutely, I remember a lot of those, those stick with you, man, and that's why I think they're really effective, and I am in complete agreement with you that that spanking and corporal punishment is generally a pretty net positive thing whenever it comes to. Not capital punishment, for the record.
Sorry. Misinformation. Sorry.
My dad's method was corporal punishment plus staring at a blank wall for like 8 hours.
See, that's just my normal day. So, you know. Yeah, no, it didn't really work. But no, dude, the spankings were very effective. I remember a lot of those.
See, I remember when I was very young and I get those on top of the spankings, my dad would tell me to stare into the corner. He said, "Stare into the corner and think about what you did." And after a while, I kind of would just try to speed up the process. So I'd sit in the corner for like 10 minutes. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. I really messed up this time." And he's like, "Yeah, you didn't think about it. Go stare back into the corner for a bit. Give me a little whack. Send me back on my way, and call it a day." I will say I do want to kind of get the subject going because I know Michael is got to be a nerd tonight. So basically, one thing I witnessed with my dad that I can say is a trait that I think many people need to understand is growing up. I lived with my dad. My dad had custody of me. He wasn't the best dad growing up, and definitely later on became a much better dad, and has helped me a lot in my adult life to not only when it comes to providing me with a way to become financially more stable, which not perfect, but still
Definitely not perfect.
still working my way there. But he's been someone that has helped me with a lot more perspective as an adult than when I was a kid. As a kid, he was kind of just a disciplinary dad. He had a lot of problems. He solved those problems, and now he's a much better guy, and we get along. But I think the message that I want to get out of that is that I think a good dad is someone who is always a good dad. It doesn't stop when you're 18. When you're 19, he's a good dad. When you're 20, he's a good dad. When you're 21, he's a good dad. And even well into your adulthood, someone who can genuinely be there as a parent, no matter how old you are.
Dude, I tell you what, my dad, especially growing up, was about the same way. He was a rough teacher. It turned me away from a lot of hobbies and activities with him, and then a lot of our common interests. The stuff that he did growing up wasn't stuff that I was interested in doing growing up, and so we never really connected all that well. It wasn't a bad relationship. It just wasn't maybe a particularly close relationship. It wasn't until I moved off to college, and then especially whenever I moved off to Colorado back in 2020, that he and I became real tight. He ended up switching jobs, going through some of his own stuff that changed him a lot as a person, and he became the best man I've ever known. I mean, it's the absolute best version of himself. He was he overworked himself, but he was happy. And his relationships were tight. He really found himself. And the last few months, whenever I moved back, was the best time I've ever known him. It was fantastic, and I will always cherish that. But the lessons that he went through, he kind of talked. It was pretty cool. I'd get on the phone with him, and he kind of talked through what was going on with him, and allow me to kind of learn some of his lessons through him as well. And it was great.
Yeah, I would say that I think my dad, kind of a similar story, though, I think taken to a much more extreme. Because my dad, he was a man who would constantly, and this was back when I was like in elementary, middle school, and elementary school and middle school, he was a man who basically indulged in his vices constantly, right? And I wasn't very close with him. And whenever I would get to spend time with him, it was really just, here's the Xbox 360, play your video games, and then every once in a while we would go to Dunkin' Donuts or go see a movie, right? But then it wasn't until after he got out of prison where, oh yeah,
I didn't know you're what?
yeah.
Why am I just now knowing about this?
Oh shit.
I didn't. What the heck?
Oh, okay. So my dad. Okay, I'll share with the class. Fuck it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
no.
New
So
lore?
my dad used to do heroin. Yeah.
What a champ.
Wait,
Wow.
what?
What a
Did
champ.
you say heroin?
Yeah. No. So it was really bad. Where when I was younger,
Hey,
back when I would just go adventure exploring around his big house,
With heroin?
I would like open up a drawer trying to find something, and I would see needles. And when I was younger, I had no idea, but they were really hidden. And even as a child, I couldn't help but think, like, man, this is ominous. I didn't know what it was, but deep down, I knew, like, this is bad. This is bad. And then when I found out from my mom that, like, oh yeah, no, like your dad does this shit. So he was in prison, and then he got out after I think my sophomore year of high school. Yeah, when I first got in Trinity, which that's probably why you didn't know is
Wow,
because
yeah,
like
no.
but in high school I don't talk about my dad going to fucking prison. Fuck that. I'm not gonna do that in high school. But I might have told Kyle though. I don't remember.
Well, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, but man, it was the change was just bizarre to me, because like he was at like rock bottom. He had nothing, but then like he worked hard. He cleaned up his act, had his own business again, did really well for himself. Like for me, my dad is the most resilient person I have ever met, and it's gonna be a long time till I ever meet someone who could be potentially as resilient as him. He just became a much better man. And that's when I started getting closer, not necessarily like high school, but, when I was in college for a bit and when I started working at the company, I had a great amount of respect for him. And then he died.
Jeez.
But yeah, no, for me, there was no other individual as resilient as he. And as corny as it is, like, man, it made me think, like, man, my dad's a fucking phoenix. He fucking, burns himself to the ground and then he rises up. But then he actually died. Like, for real, for real.
Well, he got good before he died.
My dad didn't really have like he was a different person here and he was a completely different person now. He for the most part is kind of the same person. Over time though, he's dropped a lot of his really bad parts of his personality. He's still got the same sense of humor. He still has the same demeanor. He still has kind of the same beliefs as he did growing up. He didn't really change. He just dropped a lot of the negative. I remember that there was an event. I'm not going to go into it on this podcast. And so custody battle with my parents. After this event, I kind of spoke with my mom about it, and I went off with my mom because I didn't want to be around my dad at that time. And it became a whole issue between the court, and he had to come pick me up. And my dad realized that this was kind of on him. It was kind of on him that influenced me to make this decision. And it was kind of a couple days after that when he just he took me out. We went bowling. He took me out again. We went roller skating, and he did the things that a dad does, which he did when I was younger, but not so much when I was reaching that kind of peak. 10, 12-year-old, about to be a teenager kind of age, and we kind of just revisited a lot of the things from when I was really young, and I think that was the moment where my dad kind of realized that he needed to make some kind of a change. So he started adopting a lot more of his good side, and I think that ultimately helped me grow into that helped me grow my relationship with him, and it's helped our relationship to this day.
Still broke.
Still broke, but
Financial side didn't improve.
But
Thanks, Dad.
anyway, so Jacob, you wanted to discuss stories, right?
Yeah,
Some
core
stories.
memories. So my dad was a 3rd degree black belt, and to get a 3rd degree, you had to memorize something called a kata. And his particular, like, you could choose the type of kata that you wanted to. Like some people freaking took this bamboo stick, and they had to work on their tenseness and the ability to take pain. And so they did this, and then they just it's hard to explain. Anyway, they had to get hit by this freaking big ass bamboo stick constantly, like probably about 50 times they had to get hit, and not like they had one guy just like whoosh. Anyway, that's an example. His kata that he chose was with a katana, and he had to slice some things. And so that was his freaking kata that he chose. So he was good. He knew how to use the sword very well. Anyway, brings me to the story. Scarborough Fair, they have this whole game at Scarborough Fair that I don't know if they have anymore. I really hope they do, because I really want to go back and play it, where they set you up with this a lot of armor, and they give you these big freaking also kind of bamboo, really hard sticks. And you have to whack this person and cut the freaking balloons off them. So my brother, me, my uncle, and my dad all got in there, and we played this game. I got my uncle out immediately. My brother and I immediately psychicked and said, we're going to kick our dad's ass. And so we looked at him and said, we're teaming up. And because I had 2 balloons left, my brother had 2 balloons left. My dad had, I think, 2 balloons left. So we're like, we can take him. We can 1,000% take him. So we kept taking turns going at him. He pushed us to the ground. Like, we were, by the way, this was like when I think I had turned 20 at this point. So we were older. We were bigger. And so he continuously kept whooping us to the ground. And he eventually got me out. And then he got to a point where my brother charged. My dad freaking chucked him to the ground, and my brother had 1 balloon left. And then the lady paused it, allowed my brother to get back up, and we were all cheering my brother on because we wanted him to get my dad out, because we wanted us to champion. We finally beat our dad. And freaking all my dad did was just get into position, and as soon as she get go, she did 1 fail swing and super freaking smooth, and just knocked out the balloon immediately and knocked my brother to the ground again, and just whooped us. And it was humbling, because your dad will always be able to kick your butt, and it was humbling because it was, again, the respect area of our dad is okay, all hail, we can't beat you. we're not there yet.
So okay, 2 things.
Yeah.
First things first. That whole story was just his way of saying my dad could beat your dad.
1,000%. He's also very short. He has to compensate.
The other thing was when you mentioned for his thing it was a katana. I thought you were going to tell me that instead of getting hit with a stick, you get hit with a fucking katana. I was like, whoa, holy shit!
So my dad's missing an arm.
No, dude, his bones had the density of steel. The blade shatters upon his forearm, and the fragments of the blade glitter like starlight as it falls to the ground. Whoa, a badass.
Just he is so skilled. The katana barely grazed him, and instead of cutting it, it just shaved him.
No, but, was that what you were waiting for too, Mikey? Was
Oh
the
yeah,
break
no,
that-
100%.
Yeah,
I think yeah, no, it
because
sounded
like
Oh
the
my
moment
God.
yeah, you were touching your
You're
mic, was
like-
like, I have to ask too.
Dude,
Yeah, no. So this guy, he was just whacking the crap out of him with a bamboo rod, and you're like, so my dad chose a katana.
and he taught him a lesson.
That's metal as fuck.
This guy was just having fun, and my dad said, "Let's go for real.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm gonna cut your arm off."
You just fight like a man.
Oh my god.
No, did any of y'all rough house with your dad growing up?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yes,
a lot of the time it just ended up with me in an arm bar getting getting farted in my face, farted in my
I
face,
thought you were gonna say
or get
something
or my
else.
dad farting in my face. It was one of the two.
Oh,
No, it was funny, man. Even so, I was a lot taller than my dad, and but real lanky. And my dad, dude, back when he was, especially in his like later 20s, early 30s, man, he was working out 3 times a day, bodybuilding. I mean, like the dude's arms were bigger than my head. I mean, it was. I mean, dude, pumping 3 plates reps and shit. I mean, it's crazy. It was ridiculous, and so. So there was never really any chance I had, except one time.
sorry.
I'd been getting into wrestling in high school, and so I had never used any moves on my dad. We just like roughhoused and shit. And I remember actually managing to flip him, and he. I've never seen him get more serious in that moment. And then, man, all of a sudden, just everything tenses up, and he slams me over again. He's like, "You did that once. You're never gonna be able to do that again."
I want to play games.
So what I'm gathering from
man.
this so far is
Okay.
that one trait of being a good dad is being able to kick your son's ass.
Oh yeah, no, 100%,
Well, okay.
dude. And it is hugely important.
So let me okay.
I actually think that's.
I
a good
never
trait.
I never engaged in physical contests with my father because I mean I would get my ass kicked.
his daddy was a big man.
But
Big man.
however,
Like father,
remember
like son.
I remember I was like I think I was like 8 or I was really young right at the time. But I remember my dad was hosting like a poker game at his house, and I was like, "Can I play?" And my dad's like, "Do you know how to play?" He's like, "Yeah, I know how to play poker or Texas Hold'em. I play on the computer all the time. You know, I win money for Gene Shine all the time." And my dad's like, "What?" Oh, it's a friend of my dad's.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, his name is Gene, last name Shine. We call him
we all
Shine
knew
all the
that.
time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, my bad. But no, yeah. So, but my dad was like, "You
He is
won."
in that memory right
Thanks,
now,
man.
dude.
No, my dad was like, "You've won money for Shine?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, I've done well in like some of the poker tournament games that he has me play on the computer while he's doing yard work for mom." My dad's like, "Okay, sure, you can play. You can use my money." Because they were actually playing for money. It's like awesome. And it was like 6 of us. And let me just say this. For a 9-year-old, man, I was fucking good. Oh my God. Dude, I've never seen my dad so flabbergasted in his life. Okay? Because I remember there was one hand where my dad, like, he's just like, he like over bets by like a shit ton. I don't remember all the values now, but because it's been years, but I'm the only one who calls. And my dad's just like, okay. And he's trying to bully me essentially. Keeps raising and raising, all that stuff. And if I recall correctly, it was, I think all he had, I think he had like a 3 of a kind or something. I don't remember now. But my hand beat his, okay? And when we revealed the cards, my dad fucking stood up and was like, "What the fuck?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And my dad was like, but he was still in. And so 5 hands later or something like that. Dude, it was like it was like king 8, 10, something like that. I had nothing. I literally had nothing in my. So we play through the hand, and my dad is like, he's playing a bit more cautiously, but I keep, and I'm raising though, and it finally gets to the point where, I go all in, and I had more money than my dad. I just went all in for the fuck of it, and just trying to like bluff him out. My dad's like, fuck, fold. And because he's just like, I can't lose to my own son. And then I reveal my hand. I show absolutely nothing. And my dad was like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
So we've just established beating up your son, gambling, great traits.
No, but like honestly though, the thing that it really cements to me is, I feel like one of the good things, one of the things that any man, especially a father, should have is never be upset that your child finally beats you in something.
To humble yourself.
No, because seriously, like I think, because for my dad, like, because I didn't give him any of the money back. That money was mine. I want it. I don't care that he gave me money. But yeah, I mean, he was just proud. He was just like, damn, he beat me at something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like if your child can like beat you in something, I mean, like, I wouldn't get butthurt about it. Obviously, I mean that should be like a point of pride.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
yeah.
just
Don't
happy for your kid.
It'd be kind of cringe to be jealous of your kid.
Very.
Yeah. Well, I think you're happy for you. Like, you've raised that child that you're like, hey, he finally beat me. I'm proud of you.
My granddad, for example, so my dad's dad, like my granddad, he did well for himself. He was a truck driver, right? He lived a comfortable life, but not once did he ever show envy, jealousy that my dad had, was far more successful than he ever was. In fact, my granddad was like, I'm extremely proud of your dad, Like, I think he's done very well for himself, and I'm like I think I'm proud to be his dad, basically. And so, because I know, like, I'm sure there are cases where, for some ungodly reason, a parent is jealous that their child has ended up being way more successful than they were or something. I'm sure it doesn't happen that often, but I'm sure there are cases where that is a thing.
I mean, one of the things my dad would always tell me is that he'll always be able to beat me, and then whenever I'm finally able to beat him, I won't want to. So and I know I kind of maybe that was a little convoluted, but no, I mean, because there's, well, like you said, it's focused on building up that respect, and so eventually, yeah, you'll get to a point where, yeah, you'll be able to beat your dad eventually, but hopefully when you're at that point, your dad's done a good enough job raising you that there's a respect there that the competition's over. He's passing on the torch to you, and it's no longer a point of pride to beat your dad. It's
True.
And so it's that always struck me, and and it's completely right. I would have never, especially as I got older and bigger, and no, I don't think I would have wanted to.
I think your dad's supposed to, if he's normal dad. If your dad's supposed to be able to show you the traits of being a man, to make you tough. That's why you wrestle at a young age. That's why you got a lot of physical activities. That's why you immediately have that desire to I want to be able to one day beat my dad in either something physical or something.
Yeah.
But he also should be able to simultaneously teach you number one, self-control. Number one, how to be a good citizen, how to be a good Samaritan to others, and he should show you the value of unconditional love. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be different for every single dad. It's not going to be the same. But I think that's one of the traits that I appreciate in my dad. I know how to act because of him. I know the person that I want to revolve my life. My dad has always been the guy I want to be. I always wanted to be like my dad. If anyone is who do you want to be when I grow up? A lot of people. I guess kind of it's a stereotypical answer to say your dad, but that really is my answer. I want to be my dad. That is all who I ever wanted to be. And he's given me a model in his behavior to show me like the way he treats my mom, the way he treats my sister, the way he treats everyone around him. He's always happy, even when he's not, to be around other people. We're very introverted in this family. We don't talk to people. We don't want to talk to you. But even when he doesn't want to talk to people, he'll still talk to people. So he's the guy I want to be like.
Here's actually real quick. Actually,
Yeah.
I think it's a quick question, with the quick answers. But because so whenever you did anything like competition wise with your dad, and this is for everyone, did your dad ever let you win?
If
For
it was,
me, no. My dad never let me win anything. I had to earn it. I had to
100%.
earn
Yeah, no.
victory. But yeah, my dad was the type was like if you like I'm not going to bolster your confidence with a false win because then it's just fake at that point. Like you need to earn it yourself.
Yeah. No, my dad like when we fought him quite because we were in karate as well. We fought like minimal gear. We fought pretty aggressively all the time, and he would spar with us, like spar gently. We would never, we would some, but like the times where we really wanted to fight, he would freaking throw us to the ground. Like we would get hit, and we get hit hard. If we tried to match him, he would go beyond it. So if we started really throwing hands, he would throw hands and knock us to the ground. So there was no like he would definitely temper it when we're just throwing hands back and forth, like to just spar. There is a difference between sparring and fighting. But if we ever decided to like, you know what, I'm not gonna hold my punch. I'm gonna actually start to fight. There would be no winning. He would throw hands and we would be knocked to our asses, and that's just how it would be.
Yeah.
On video games though, no, he would never be able to beat
Oh,
us.
that was something that my dad and I did a lot. We used to play like Halo a lot.
Oh, we
And-
played Halo all the time.
I mean, granted, when I was like first playing, he was better than me because like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
You
Yeah.
see,
Well, I mean, I was quickly became a better player than him, but that's not really much like
Dude,
point of pride for me. But
my uncle was like, I'm so sorry, but my uncle was like super cruel when it came to this. We were playing like the old Bond video game, and we were playing with my brother, my dad,
are you talking about
me.
GoldenEye? Is that
Yeah,
what it's called?
GoldenEye.
Yeah.
We were playing that. I think it was GoldenEye. It may not be GoldenEye, but it was one of the Bond games. Anyway, my brother, me, my uncle, and my dad were playing that game. My uncle said like, "Hey," to my brother, like, "Hey, get that bazooka, shoot it right next to the wall. It'll blow a hole in the wall, and you can sneak past it." Freaking my brother went up to it like, it's like, and he was so confused, like, what? And
See-
he died. Like, what happened?
See-
And we were just laughing.
See, my dad was kind of a Renaissance nerd, so I had a bit of a different experience when it came to competition. So I remember when I was young, he used to give me a big helmet which weighed like 20 pounds, so my little head was like wobbling back and forth, and I could barely carry it on my shoulders. And he gave me this little shield, and we tried to fight like he did in his events. And I remember he was like, "All right, let's see if you can take me on." So I tried, and he'd just go like, "Whoop, bang, whoop, bang," right on the head, whoop, bang. I was
Would
like,
he
"That's
make
not
the
fair.
sound-
You're taller."
Would
And I was
he
like,
make
"All
the
right, I'll
sound
get on my
effects?
knees." Yeah, he would do the sound
my
effects.
gosh.
And so he got on his knees. I was like, "All right, now you're my size." And so like he'd be like, "Whoop, whoop, whoop, bang." and would have no mercy in the sense. He would just keep going and keep going.
What about you, Mikey? Was it like pool basically?
So growing up, it was a whole lot of like lightsabers and
Oh, cool.
airsoft and stuff like
Oh,
that, and
lightsabers.
we'd always try and one up each other in that.
Yeah.
Lightsabers were fun, man, but the
I did that.
airsoft.
I did that with my dad a few times. Again, never let me win.
He'd go out and he'd buy an airsoft gun and wouldn't tell me about it, and he'd just hide it somewhere in the house, and then so I'd come up to him wherever he was at, and he'd pull out a gun and shoot me before I could get a shot on him.
You know what, Mike?
See-
I'm curious, Mikey. Unless is there more?
Well, there's
Yeah, please go.
Yeah. I got my 30 seconds, guys.
No, because the question was for you. Actually, the question was for you. But yeah,
No, the only time that I ever caught him trying to let me win, and it was more so he was just messing around, but it really kind of ticked me off. We both played in the same pool league, and I joined a different team, and we ended up going head to head, and it was always kind of funny. I was ranked higher than he was, but he was a better shot. I don't know how it worked out like that, but I was up on him, and he had the chance to win a game, and he called this safety, which just means that he's intentionally missing his shot just to try to leave me bad. And it was just to screw around. He had an easy 2-shot out. And he calls the shot. I'm like, oh, hell no. No, I started talking as much shit as I could to him just to get him to stop. I was like, no, dude, if I'm going to win this, I want to win it. I want to actually get this win. And I did end up winning that. But, yeah, no, he tried. He tried to. I was like, no
I'm
way.
sure your trash talker is like, all right, dude.
Yeah,
I'm good about
100%. 100%.
So, was that the first time you beat your dad in a game of pool, or like? Because the question I was going to ask you was, do you remember the first time you ever beat him in a game of pool? Like, is that like a good moment for you, if that makes sense?
I don't know if I remember the first time, but there's been, I mean, we definitely got to a point where it was pretty comparable. If his best game was better than my best game, but if I was on my game and he wasn't, I could get him. That was the only time that he and I had gone head to head in an actual match. And I still have his signature on the oh my God, no, he was ranked higher than me in that one. Cause I got a patch for beating him. Cause he was in the highest like skill level bracket, and you get a patch for beating somebody in that bracket.
Oh.
And so I got that's what it was. I forgot about that. I was ranked higher than him in another format.
So, quick question: you were interviewed a while back because you were on this like,
man.
why don't you like mention it? Because you were on this like, what is it like, big league freaking pool tournament? And
Yeah.
like you were representing the space that your dad was going to play, and your dad was honored at the event, and you were like interviewed about that. So, like, did a lot of people like know your dad, or was this just something that? Tell me like if a lot of people knew your dad, and then tell me like what it kind of felt to like kind of represent him because he was dead at the time.
Man,
I had to add that last part.
Yeah, because just in case we didn't know that.
Just needed to remind you.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, dude, everything about that is just so crazy. So it's a event called the U.S. Opens. It's the 9-ball U.S. Opens, the biggest national tournament for 9-ball, and there's a whole lot that goes into it. But basically, they've got a whole field of pros, and then you can buy in a spot for yourself, and then you go head to head against the best of the best. And you have European players and Asian players, people from all over the world fly in for this. So you've got the best in the world all playing in this tournament. And the way that it's structured is you've got half of the roster are pro players that qualified for it, and then you got the other half that bought into the tournament, and they are matched up against each other, but each side is matched up against the other side for the first round. So you're guaranteed to play a pro. And my dad's favorite player of all time is Skylar Woodward. He's at the time he was number 2 in the U.S., number I think 30 in the world. The guy's an amazing player, and a total class act on top of that. We've met him a few times. He knew my dad from whenever he would play in events out here, and they I didn't know this at the time. I found out about it much later. My dad had messaged Sky saying, hey, if we match up against each other, I'm not going easy on you. And this was 7 days before I went into the hospital. And so they finally announced, or my dad passes. I end up taking his spot. We share the same name. It was, didn't have to change anything to make it happen. And they released the draw, and I draw Skylar Woodward. And so that was just, I can't even express how excited I was, but also just what the hell? This is so weird. This is crazy. Like, that's not just coincidence, dude. That's weird. That's, and so, Sky knew my dad. Jeremy Jones was one of the announcers. He made an announcement about it during the event, and then it kind of just got around that this situation happened, and so one of the promoters for the event got me and Sky together to do an interview about my dad and just the way it all worked out, and what it was like playing, and oh my God, it was amazing. It was really kind of one of the first times I had talked about my dad, I think, since he passed, and it was such a significant thing to talk about too. I mean, this was something my dad had always dreamed about doing. So,
And you got I'm so sorry to bother
no,
you.
no.
Is it a video? You say you got like the best shot in the whole.
No, so
One of them. It's.
it probably would have been, except for the last round.
Oh yeah.
The last round was crazy, man. But no, I went into this. I was like, I'm not gonna win it. But all I want is one really, really good shot on the TV table. And first round, I draw Sky Woodward. They put us on the TV table, and I made this killer shot. It was awesome. And so I don't know.
It was sexy.
I need to check if it's been featured yet.
So if it was, I'll put it in the video starting 3, 2, 1. All right, we're done. That's it.
Man, what a shot. We'll edit my part out if we didn't find it.
Yeah.
Actually,
We'll
don't edit it
actually
out.
just cut to you
I'm-
talking
yeah.
about the fact that we're going to edit it out if we don't show it.
I'm cutting this
Okay.
whole thing out. Welcome back from
Yeah,
the
that's-
edit.
Run the intro.
So to answer
yeah.
your question, not to drag on my part, but yeah, no. So not a lot of people at the U.S. Open knew him, but almost everybody in the local DFW area knew him just from playing pool. He got into a lot of the pool scenes, and he was just a genuinely good, well-liked guy. I mean, probably easily half the attendees to his funeral and events events afterwards were pool players. We had a memorial tournament for him last weekend. No, 2 weekends ago. Sorry, time kind of blurs. We had a memorial tournament for him 2 weeks ago that had 117 players sign up, and many, many, many more show up to show support, and it was amazing. So it's going to be something we do every year now, and not to gonna promote it a little bit here. All the proceeds go to the juniors, like the junior player foundation. So it'll.
This would be the time we would leave the information down below, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to do that because that requires more research and
Also,
I
we
don't want to
only
do
have
it.
202 subscribers. So.
If you want to check it out, listen to what he says. But
True.
I might announce it next year, whenever before
Just
before
watch
it
it. This
happens
sucks.
again. Yeah, but it really was just an amazing showing. Just seeing everybody come out and participate, and it was just nice, man. There's nothing like it. There really isn't.
By the way, my D&D game did get canceled.
hey,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
got time aplenty.
we can talk about our dead dads longer.
Damn. But yeah, so great story, excellent story. But you've been
Jeez.
talking way too long.
I know, man. My mouth is a little dry.
Of course. Let me.
Speaking of which, I need a drink.
Okay, so Liam, would you want to add anything? Since again, this is your topic, so like we've been just kind of.
Y'all were holding it together so well. I was just listening.
Yeah, but like it's your topic. We thought, look, you need more lines of dialogue.
So when's the first time you remember disappointing your dad?
Oh, first
dude!
time.
Oh my god!
November 5th of 1999.
Is that when you were born?
That was the first disappointment that my
Yeah,
dad
yeah.
received.
I was gonna say
man.
January 1st, 1997 at 12:07.
September 11th.
I don't know exactly what time I was born. I mean, disappointing. I think my dad never really showed disappointment. He just showed very angry. So I remember I have one distinct memory, and
Fuck.
I'm gonna call my dad out on this, but because this was an entirely stupid decision on his part, was the fact that when I was very young, I remember failing a test. It was second grade, and he pretty much just pulled me out of Boy Scouts for it.
Oh.
I was in Boy Scouts.
And he pulled you out of
He
that?
pulled me
because-
out for failing.
Really?
Yes.
What did
Again,
that accomplish?
Yeah. Well,
It turned him vegan.
I know. Like,
no.
many mistakes were made.
Oh my gosh.
No, that to me was probably. Again, my dad never showed like moments of just genuine disappointment. He had a big display of anger usually, and this is something that he had to overcome over a
Okay.
while, which
Yeah.
ultimately helped show a lot more of his a lot of his better side as I got older. But no, that was probably one of the major events where maybe not disappointment, but where my dad kind of did something that was a really big display of anger.
I'd pay to see him beat you.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my
Well, yeah,
Gosh.
he would. It was more. Well, he more say things. He would get angry and be verbal about it. He'd maybe give me a smack across the head every once in a while.
That's what I'm looking for.
Sweet.
Yeah, yeah. But
Why stop there?
no, I can't. I don't think I can recall a time of disappointment in my dad. More just upset, not like oh, well, you have me disappointed. So
I'd be disappointed in you.
you should be. You should be.
I can definitely.
Which is amazing because the bar is like super low already.
It's
I know.
not. I don't even have a bar. What is it? I can. Most of the times I got in trouble, it was for me being stupid. I wasn't like the disappointment child. I was the stupid child.
Yeah.
I was definitely like above my brother and sister. Above both those, like I'm definitely the dumb child. You can definitely see it. Can you?
Who was the disappointment? Who was the disappointing child?
Moving on. The only time my dad is like.
What? Wait, hold on. I didn't catch that. What did you say? Wait. That gun's loaded, by the way.
I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Safety's on, by the way. We're gun safety.
He's about to actually
Well, it's not
shoot.
pointing
He's
at
about
me.
to
It is
shoot
loaded.
Charles
It is
here
loaded.
on camera. Here on the Couch Gambit podcast. Stay tuned. No, there's
Coming up next, Charles
no,
is dead.
No, I actually.
He's
man,
finally with
you
his
had me
dad.
lose it. You had me lose it. That was the crazy part. I can name the moment my dad was disappointed when I wanted to become vegan.
I was about to.
yeah,
I was
like-
gonna
yeah.
ask what your dad's reaction.
No,
to that was.
it was actually kind of cringe. He got very angry. He got very angry. He yelled at.
Appropriate behavior so far.
I was gonna say understandable.
This is
Yeah.
worth getting angry about?
No, he
Oh no, you told me about this.
No,
actually.
he literally like yelled at me and was yelling, and he was like, I have a dumbass for a son and all that.
my
It was like-
God.
it was like, it was a little bit of an overreaction.
No, he was doing what he was supposed to be doing.
Dude, you were the one who made the topic of like what we should be as dads.
I know.
And you're
No, like, seriously, he was trying to do the right
Firm
thing by you.
on
Liam.
your beliefs.
He was trying to
That's my
shepherd
dad.
you
You
into
know
the
what?
right cause.
But to be fair, what are his beliefs? He's a libertarian. What can I say?
It's true.
At least,
Anyway.
at least
He's
eat
like,
Loves
steak.
fences.
I love you, Dad. But you're kind of a fence sitter.
Oh,
Anyway, back to me being the dumb child.
I will. Oh yes, please.
Sorry.
Continue.
I was
Dumb
so
child.
I got in trouble a lot just for stupid reasons. It wasn't for like I'm disappointed in you. It was for like you idiot.
Yeah.
Like most of the time I had to get spankings from him. He came home and was happy, and then he walked past my room because my room was right next to the door that you walk in. And he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'd be upset and like, "Why are you upset?" And then he'd walk in, talk to my mom, walk back like you. Idiot! Why? I was having a good day, and so that's why I get in trouble. But the only time I've ever heard like I'm disappointed in you, and that it's just like that crushed me worse than anything because again, that's the guy I want to be, and he just said you suck as a human being, and like jeez, what is it? So we weren't like again. Many people won't be able to relate to this at all, but this is just how my family was. We weren't allowed to date in high school. After we graduated high school, then you can start dating. Agree or disagree, that was just our rule. There we go. Well, I actually
Based
don't
on-
100% agree with that rule, but anyway,
Based on-
we weren't supposed to date, and
That's
I
debatable.
went behind my parents' back and started dating someone, and just didn't tell anybody about that. And eventually, my brother figured out and told my mom,
Oh
"You
my
tattletale, you
God.
piece of crap, child." And then what is it? I had to sit down with my dad and mom, but my dad was the one who did most of the talking, and he just looked in my eye and just shook his head. It was like, I knew it's coming. And then he said the dreaded, I'm very disappointed in you. And for me at the time, like that's essentially disowning me. And it just made me feel like, oh, that hurts me more than any spanking that you could ever get. Like that sucked.
See, I've never had my dad directly tell me that I'm disappointed in you. However, I have gone back on something that he proclaimed. He was proud of me. I remember when I went to college, and he was like, "Son, I'm very proud of you."
Man.
And I dropped out 3 months later.
Oh, wow.
So I probably didn't deserve.
Your pride doesn't get. I don't give a
any-
crap about your pride.
I mean, I guess, I think the only time I can think of really is when I dropped out of college, basically, or even while I was going to college, because
Just don't go to college, kids.
no, well,
Yeah,
because
that's-
seriously, because
Aim low.
no, because the
Lower
big
your
thing was, I got accepted.
become a drug addict, and then
Sell meth.
and then get healed from it, and boom, he'll be proud.
And then sell meth. Sorry,
Go to rehab. Go to rehab after becoming a drug addict,
Do
so your
your-
dad can be proud of
Do
you.
your story.
This is our advice.
But basically, I was going to college for all the wrong reasons, really, and
He went for love.
what?
Ew.
No,
And then he found out that he loved himself a lot.
So, at first, I was in for an English major of all things. Yeah, really stupid. And I was doing
Liberal.
all right, but then I look during my college days, I was really depressed, and I wouldn't go to my classes, I wouldn't study, I wouldn't do anything, right? And here's the thing, I was treating college as if it was high school, because in high school, I didn't have to really do anything to be a A/B student, like at all. Like English and history, especially. Like, dude, like the tests are so easy. You know, like the one like are like English tests where, hey, like you have to write an essay about the book, but they'll give you like the topic that they want you to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And literally, I would just read the topic, read the synopsis of the book, and just have a general idea of the whole entire outline. And I would ace the writing portion of the test literally every time. It's not like that in college. It is not. And my dad was very disappointed that I was basically, in his words, squandering my potential, I guess. Because, I mean, I'd like to think I am above average in intellect. I'd like to think that. I'm probably not.
You can continue thinking that.
No, but I mean, like, I've never thought I was the smartest guy in the room. If anything, I like to think that I try to surround myself with people who are a lot smarter than myself.
You've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah, I was about to say, well,
Did you not hear my rant?
I guess I am the smartest one in the room in this case, which is horrible. But yeah, no, my dad, I could tell that even though we were kind of had a good relationship before I went to college, I could tell that it just off a cliff, right? Like he didn't disown me or anything like that, obviously, but I could tell that, just having conversations with him, he was very disappointed that I was basically doing nothing with my life. Until I finally got, even though I dropped out of college, I kind of got my act together and, started, focusing more on working, trying to just be better as a person. And, that's when, my dad was like, that's when I think, he was starting to become more proud of me again. Though I don't know. I can't read his mind. Also, he's dead. So, I'll never know.
This is
But,
never gonna stop.
But, yeah, like, that's probably the one story I can think of where I really disappointed him. And it sucked. Because honestly, disappointing your dad is, like, the worst. Mm-hmm. For me, at least.
Oh,
There
yeah.
is. I'm sorry.
no, I'd rather have him yell at me.
Oh yeah, I would much
100%.
rather have my dad tell me how much of an idiot I'm being
No,
for doing something stupid.
beating me senselessly sounds better than him saying like, "No, you suck as a human being."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never got told directly, but you definitely feel it.
It's It sucks. I think I've blocked out the specific times that he said it because I know he said it to me.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely said
Oh,
it to
there
me.
were, it wasn't anything like horrible. Like he always said the hard lines of like, look, this is what'll get you kicked out of the house, and this, like
Oof.
doing drugs and stuff like that. He's, it was, he drew hard lines, but there was a lot of stuff I did without really thinking, and I think it took him off guard too.
I'm glad we're not doing this live.
Yeah. Oh.
Us live would be a horrible experience.
We'll get there.
No, we
So-
won't. I don't want to ever get. So maybe, if there are any editors out there that are cheap, that'd be great. My life would be so much better if we can find. Comment down below if you're an editor, please. Anyway, are there any like vice versa? Are there times where like the moments where your dad was proud of you, like where he maybe he didn't say it directly, or where
When I went to
I'm sorry.
college.
Wait. What was the?
you know how that turned out?
You used a word there.
I used a word there.
What was the question?
Are there moments where your dad has been proud of you?
That word right there.
Yeah, I don't understand.
You said it start
I
proud.
proud. Yeah,
Proud.
Where your
Prowl?
dad feels this unimaginable.
I'm on the prowl?
I don't know how to describe this without saying the word.
He's glad to call you
happy
his son.
He's happy that you came
Well,
from
no,
his
no,
sperm.
what's that word?
He's happy that
No, that one.
he's happy that he didn't wear a condom when you
No,
came
no, I
from your mom.
I still don't understand. What do you mean?
This is
The
so hard,
happenstance?
Michael. Jeez.
Hapless? Helpless?
You know what? Back to disappointment. Does that make sense?
Proud. Yeah. Proud.
But yeah, proud.
Proud. I don't know. Definitely when I moved up to Colorado because I followed in
When
his
you
footsteps.
moved away.
Then I moved away. He was, dude. I followed.
Thank God.
Dude,
Finally down.
the closest no dude it was funny because the closest things that brought me to him was whenever I started kind of following in his footsteps because I was very proud of myself to be doing that. I saw a lot of things that he did that I wanted to embody myself, and one of those things that he did early on in his young adulthood was he moved off. He just went off and started a life, and so getting to do that myself was so much fun. And it was a really great, eye-opening learning experience. And I think that was probably the proudest he'd ever been to me.
It's kind of the same thing. I moved out. Freaking like fine. I
So-
think that kind of is.
so-
Like, I genuinely do think like there is a certain like your dads will love you. If you have a good dad, he's gonna love you. But he deservedly so will probably rejoice once you move out of the freaking house. Because
Absolutely.
All right.
yeah.
I've got it. I've got one. I think if not the
definition of
proudest,
proud?
but one of the proudest moments that he's had of me was when he found out about my politics. So I will say this: he straight up told me one time, he's like, "Son, I'm not gonna lie. For a while, I thought you were a liberal snowflake."
See,
And I was just like, "Really?" It was like, "Yeah." I was like, "How so?" He's like, "I mean, like, you watch your weird like cartoons. You mean anime?" He's like, "Yeah, that." And he's like,
It's not a phase, Dad.
and I was like, "I mean, okay." And he's like, "And a lot of times, like, you don't talk about, whenever I talk about, like Trump or like any politics, you don't really like chime in." I was like, "Oh, because like, I don't care to talk about politics, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, I'm with you."
You see that guy online that says like if your dad, if you have a good dad if he watches Fox News. It's like early like what is like every dad has to like watch Fox News until they can't, and like that's it. I'm going to bed. The world's
see,
going to hell.
I had a very similar experience to you once my dad found out about my politics. But here's the thing: he was proud because when I was young, I was a snowflake liberal.
I remember we were at the Capitol Grill, fancy steakhouse, okay, and his fiance, Carrie, that bitch.
Jeez.
Sorry.
Is she also dead or still alive?
Unfortunately, still alive.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Does she watch this podcast or do I need to send this to her?
We can shit on our front porch
You're not
if you
gonna
want.
rat me out, are you?
No, of course.
No, I was making a joke that I killed her. but no one caught on.
Oh, wow.
It's okay. It was too subtle. Anyways,
This
no.
is how we get demonetized.
But this is how. But
how
she
people
no.
get demonetized,
She's
dude.
very much alive. No, I don't.
Also,
wish
if she just died all of a sudden, it'd be really bad.
yeah, it would be really bad.
And
but no, I do
scrounge
not.
the internet, Michael,
I do not.
find his
I do
address.
not wish death upon her. I don't care that much about it anymore. But I remember we were at the Capitol Grill, and I don't remember how exactly the conversation came up. But Carrie, being just the weird bitch that she is, she's just like, I don't see a problem with a guy wanting to wear a dress. And my dad was like, I can't believe you can't find out why it's wrong, why it's bad. And I was just like, yeah, no, Carrie, that's such a stupid thing of you to say. like that was my exact wording. It was like, Carrie, that's a very stupid and ignorant thing of you to say. And my dad was like, what? It was like, yeah, no, like a guy wearing a dress and and then it was like, and I went and looked at her again. It's like, wait, like, are you also okay if he wears a thong and a bra? And she's just like, I mean, it's just clothes. It's like, there's a reason why women wear thongs and men wear fucking the boxers underwear here. Okay, it's because they were designed for that anatomy in mind.
Dick.
Yes.
There we go.
Right.
There you go. Just go.
And my
go
dad
out
was
with it.
like, I am so proud of you.
That's good.
No, which by the way, tangent. But I remember on the 4th of July, when Carrie randomly, I'm just like, on I'm outside just like enjoying the sun, and she's like, Cameron, do you know how to spell independence? I'm like, and I spell it for her. It's like, wrong. It's actually D-A-N-C. It's like, it is not independence, Carrie. It's independence. All right, and then I look it up for her. I give her the phone, and she's like, what? And she's like, and I'm like, yeah. Look, I know an English major was a waste of time, but at least I know how to spell independence.
I don't know if this is the stupid in me or the dyslexic in me, but when you said spell independence with an A, I thought it was like at the very beginning where you say on dependence.
No.
On dependence.
This guy.
On dependence.
This guy. Hold on.
On
side
dependence.
tangent, This guy does not know how to spell. like. And I said he doesn't.
Yeah,
know
no,
how to
I
spell.
fucking
He doesn't
I
know how to
lay-
spell.
I lay
He
into it.
doesn't know how
Wow,
to
he doesn't know how to
spell.
spell.
He sent me a letter, and I said I can't read that.
And I looked at this guy and I said, wow, he doesn't know how to spell.
He doesn't know how to spell.
He doesn't know how to spell.
Dude, literally like rearranges like 3 letters in the word.
I had to
Dyslexic
if you actually
ass.
go back on the first podcast, I misspelled your name
Oh, that's
on the
right.
first
Oh
podcast.
my god! When I saw that, I was like, how?
Michael Rickaboner.
To be
Yes.
to be fair, I sent that intro to the group and everyone said that looks good, and I sent it out and that said, oh wait, that's not right. And
That
like,
was-
wait a minute, it's already on YouTube.
Wait, who called him out on that? Was that?
It was you.
It was me.
You're like spelled my name wrong.
You spelled my name wrong. I didn't yell. I wasn't giving you like.
You
I
did-
wasn't
I mean,
throwing
you-
He
profanity
just looked at
out
him and said,
You should have said-
Jacob, I'm very disappointed in you.
Hey! That's a good way to circle it back around.
I suck.
Are you sure you're not the disappointment in the family?
So, if anyone-
I said that to give myself confidence.
So has anyone in the audience learned the traits that someone ought to adopt to become a father? If
Don't
you
be your
have,
dad.
Please leave a comment down below. If you haven't, I don't blame you.
Yeah, we might not have been the most clear about what traits you should
Again,
adopt.
you're
I
talking
actually-
to 4 single guys here.
There is
3 single guys?
one of my...
Our
Four?
girlfriends don't determine our dad. What do you mean?
I'm just saying.
When's this podcast going to be released?
I don't. Whenever I'm finished editing it.
Okay, I'll be single.
Wow.
he's saying it here now.
For those of you who don't
moments
know
like
what that
this-
means, you don't need to.
You don't,
You
there
don't
go.
need to.
And the person
And
that
I'm
affects-
sorry.
He's not. He's not.
All that
He's
all that
thanking
matters-
God as we speak.
All that matters is, as of right now,
Baby doll,
3
it's
of us
you,
are
not
single.
me.
Yeah, I never know if Charles is single or not. I kind of just
I don't
like
really
guess.
know either, but I will
course
know
you
for
fucking
sure in about a week.
Okay.
Oh,
He's
in
gonna-
about a week? Well,
So,
you
Foreshadowing.
so it's not clear to him yet, but he'll know for
You
sure.
should seriously
next
let
week.
me know because this may come out less than a week.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Okay. Well, if she's describes,
Maybe this will be the breakup video right here.
I dig it.
Honestly,
I dig
This
it.
is- okay,
I'll show
make
the
it a
podcast.
short. Make it a short. And then he can link the short to her, and then be like,
My dad would be
I just
so
need you
proud
to watch
right now.
This real fast.
My dad would be so proud.
hey, just send it to her and leave the room. Like, by the way,
That's
watch this.
true.
Bye.
Oh, actually, here's something. Do you think our dads would like this podcast if they were still around?
God, no, dude. This would be. This
My
is
dad
one of the
doesn't
things.
like this podcast
This was one
now.
of the things where I was like, thank God, my dad will never have to experience this podcast.
Why do you
Like,
think he
thank
wouldn't
God.
like it? I'm curious.
Dude, he first of all, he'd say, "You're saying things on the internet that's really stupid. That's a stupid thing to do. Is put your face and like lips next to the words that you're saying
I
for
feel
everybody to use against you in 20 years." Whenever we're all got like commie guns to our heads.
Wow.
To be fair, that's a common criticism for this podcast.
Hey,
For
listen,
everyone that's hated us.
Yeah.
we haven't kept in any of the bad things we've said.
That's yeah, that's true. Yeah,
We
that's
should,
why I
though.
don't think that I don't think we could ever go to a different editor. I think we need to keep this one in house.
Keep it in house. I was
Yeah,
about to
keep
say.
this one in
keep it
house.
No. Comment down below.
Welcome back. You missed all that. Yeah, we keep it in house.
I get my humor from my dad, by the way.
I'm gonna edit this and I'm gonna be like calm in one
You have
bit. and I'm
no
gonna be,
context.
That's gonna be the thumbnails. Just
Dude, no. No, seriously. Look,
completely delete
without question.
hour 10 through hour and 15. Just the whole chunk of it. Hour 10 through hour
That's
15.
unfortunate.
no one needs to know.
A
the
lot of
reason
good
why.
content here.
No one
A
needs to know
lot
the
of
reason
the golden content.
So
Perhaps for paying subscribers. we'll
Yeah,
have the
yes.
additional-
Hey,
Hey,
please.
nah. Hey, guess what? Nah.
Consider signing up to our Patreon for the low cost of $50 a month.
You know
can
what,
get
just
the-
we
give us
will
a
do whatever you want.
anything.
So one of the best things that it was actually my mom who said this about my dad. She's like, your dad wasn't a nice man, he was a kind man. And it's a big difference between being nice and being kind. Being nice is where you're courteous and you're like a people pleaser sort of thing. It's where you're non-confrontational, you let people be themselves, and you just kind of like it's you don't tell people what they need to hear. That's the big difference. Kind is where you're understanding, you're compassionate, but you're stern and you understand what people actually need in that moment, regardless of whether or not they want to hear it. And that
my
was
dad does plenty of that.
absolutely my dad to
Yeah.
a T. Yeah, kind, not nice. It was. It's inspiring, and the more I go through life, and the more I see in the world, the more I understand it, and the more I understand how much it was needed.
The trait then my dad will, I guess the two traits. Unconditional love, something that even throughout because again, stupid child, regardless of everything, he stood next to me, stood by me, no matter how much he disciplined me, no matter how much I got the spankings, got the groundings, got the just punishments that all of them I deserved. Every single time he managed to tell me at the end and reinforce the fact that there was still love there. There was a kind-hearted kinship to him that I always model my life after him and always want to be like that guy. My dad is always the guy that I want to model myself after. Unconditional love and love through discipline. Discipline and still managing to show me how to be a man at the end of the day. Like an example of how to treat women, how to treat your fellow man, how to just behave, how to just be a man.
The biggest thing that I've learned from my dad, and that I hope to, whether like to emulate or yeah, we'll just go with emulate. Really, it's just being thick-skinned, or in this case, just have drive, right? Where it doesn't, for him, it doesn't matter how often you fail or how critical the failure is, whether it is through your own making or through outside interference. You just have to keep striving, like continue to move forward, right? Because again, like it was, I know it's an extreme example with my dad, but again, like went from, I mean, he's actually a big reason why, you know, the tiny little smart cars. Remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a big contributor of why they were like became somewhat popular here in the U.S. He basically helped bring them over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he made a lot of money doing that.
Your dad did that?
Yeah,
And went to prison?
yeah,
I can see
What a
why.
sham.
yeah.
This is Chad, dude.
No, so but well, they were stupid cars. But yeah, so but my dad, like, you know, living life in a position of power, but then through his own mistakes, his own vices, fucking just off a cliff, basically. And, you know, I'm sure most people would have let that just continue to fester and grow and not make anything of themselves at that point. But he continued to move forward. He continued to try and improve himself, to not rely on his vices. Came out clean, and he did well for himself again. And that for me is inspiring, you know. And again, like a lot of the bad things that happened in his life was his own doing, right? But you know, he did what he needed to do to not only be a better man, a better entrepreneur, but also a better father. And I guess the other thing that I think is probably something that I take away from him is really just, I said it before, his sense of humor, really. He's just the type of person where there should be no boundaries when it comes to dialogue, honestly. Because if you're offended by something, it's because you're allowing the words to have power over you, right? People give words power. Words are like, yeah, people give words meaning, if that makes sense.
I don't know if I've shared a specific example.
We don't want to hear it.
I don't know if I shared a specific example throughout this podcast, but genuinely, if I had to take away anything that my dad taught me, I think that for one is to kind of have the courage to say what's always on your mind. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse, and to not let people kind of bully you into submission. I think that's probably one of the most important bits of my dad, because my dad, in one aspect, would not let anyone bully him or blatantly disrespect him without at least standing up for himself. And I think that's one trait that I have, sometimes for better or for worse, because I have mouthed off to people that could kick my ass. But ultimately, I think that it kind of gives me a better sense it gives me a better sense of self that I've come to love. So,
Yeah.
Cool.
boy, howdy.
We're
I
done.
think that'll do it.
Oh,
Fantastic.
well, it seems that they want to wrap things up.
I don't think that camera's on anymore. You might as well look away.
Okay, well, I'm not looking at that camera anymore. So, it seems like the boys here want to wrap things up. I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't have D&D anymore, so, you know, I'm in no big rush. But, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you didn't, tell us how we can improve.
Why have you watched this far?
Anyways, I hope you took something away from this this conversation. But yeah,
Leave a hate comment down below.
Please do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, give us your best.
Call us a bad word.
yeah, no, continue to call me fat. Remind me of my bloated head. I'm all for
Oh, and
it.
don't forget the nasally voice.
And the nasally voice.
There
yes.
should never be another white guy podcast or four
That
white guy
too,
podcasts.
yes.
That was one comment.
Oh,
yeah.
I
yeah,
remember.
that's right,
Yeah.
Join us next time for Space.
The final frontier.
No, but
What are we talking about next time?
Oh wait, that's what you meant.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
We're going to be doing I think.
It's all coming around.
Hold on, what's our...
thank you
No.
for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for those who left a comment, whether it's negative or positive. We're not going to stop what we're doing. We enjoy it too much.
You know what? Worst comment below wins. Like, be the most hateful person
true.
you can be.
We'll invite you onto the podcast.
Have a good one, guys. Stay safe out there.
Depending on where you live.
God bless.
Go away.